Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in into our first episode of Smash Talk, which is where we're going to be talking a lot about gaming news, commentary, esports, and today's article is actually really interesting. And Brian and I today are going to be talking about Nintendo's most recent fiscal report, and it's really interesting. And but before we even started this video, Brian and I were talking about it, and I think we both agree that the numbers are looking good, right?
Yeah, yeah, I would actually agree with that. The numbers for Nintendo are actually looking really good, and it's definitely a big improvement over the last few years during like the Wii U era.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, hell, just this past quarter alone, I mean, they improved from the previous quarter, which was, I mean, it is insane to think about because considering that they're not able to produce enough consoles and it's still selling this well to this amount of people, and it's going to continue to sell this well at least for the remainder of this year, that says a lot about the future of the device. I'm looking forward to seeing the Switch not only succeed but really compete with the other two consoles. And by the way, just to get into some hard numbers right now, Nintendo sold 1.97 million Switches between April and June. So that wasn't like, since it came out. That was for a few months only. So that's impressive. I mean, Nintendo sold so many units that they've had to actually increase. They've recently just ordered a production increase. Um, and and I have to ask you, Brian, do you think that they can actually meet their stated quota of 10 million Switches by the end of the current fiscal year? Do you think they could actually do it?
Okay, so what is what? Okay, you're gonna have to teach me about this. What is the fiscal year?
So fiscal year, every company has a different fiscal year, right? And fiscal years don't start in January and end December. No, Nintendo's
Okay,
I think starts in March and it ends in February. Um,
okay,
and the reason they do that is just because they need to be able to have a certain amount of basically the current laws dictate that they have to report how much they're making. They have to be held accountable to their shareholders, and that's when they do those types of meetings. Now, Nintendo does it, I think, 4 times a year, and in these meetings, they talk about their strategy for how they're going to make money. Um, and the reason I asked you that, Brian, is because Nintendo says that they're going to sell 10 million units, and in theory, I think it's very plausible. But my concern is, and there's something that's even affected, you know, you in some regards, is that you can't find a console.
yeah, yeah, and actually, like being a Nintendo fan myself, yeah, it's very hard to find Switches these days, with such high demand of the console, and I would love to get a Switch. I can't possibly pay for it. Uh, I can't possibly pay for it, but uh, but the 10 million does seem, yeah, as you said, it does seem plausible. But with the amount of demand that the Switch has and the amount of games that are coming out, Nintendo really needs to ramp up its production.
Yeah, and look, that's my biggest concern. Like I said, I think that the biggest hindrance is simply going to be getting enough units to the table. And look,
Yeah.
by the way, as a Switch owner myself, I have a Switch. I've bought a couple of games on it already. It's funny because I even told Brian when they first announced the Switch that technically I was gonna wait a few months, and the only reason I even got it was because of Zelda, Day One.
Hmm.
Um,
Which is the reason why most
Even
people got
got
their
it, yeah,
Switches.
for Zelda. I mean, hell, I think in the first few months, the Switches,
You know,
Zelda and Switches were
Zelda
selling
was,
1 to 1.
yeah, Zelda was the big thing,
Hell,
and that's how they got Switches to
hell, I think they
sell.
sold more copies of Zelda than they sold consoles, which is crazy to think about.
Yes, they did.
At one
It is
point,
actually that is actually very true.
uh, and of course that's changed over time, but still, it's insane to think about a game having that kind of uh, selling,
Impact.
not just impact, but selling so closely with its home device. It's interesting. And the only other console I could think of that's ever real. I mean, the only other game that I could think of that's done that is GTA 5. Um, but even then, it's remarkable. So my concern right now is, look, Nintendo, you need to prioritize how you're gonna manufacture these issues. Like, look, I get it. You're competing with other companies like Apple for parts, and it's hard and it's expensive. But they need to find better ways to get these consoles uh, to the U.S., to Canada, to Europe, and hell, even to Japan. They're having shortages over there. Um, if you guys think that the shortages are bad here in the U.S., which they are, in Japan they have to have raffles to even get a console.
That is actually pretty
You
insane. I actually did not
you
know
have to
about
have a
that one.
raffle to have the opportunity to buy it. It's not like they're doing giveaways. No, it's they're giving you away the opportunity to buy a device, which is crazy. Right,
Wow.
right, I know, right? And apparently they've been criticized a lot for that practice. But we're talking about America here. Um, so look, I hope Nintendo does well, continues to do well rather. Their stock currently is trading at, and these are the numbers as of the 29th of July. The stock is at $42.39. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but a few years ago, like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I think they were trading like at $12. Very, very, very little amount. But they've bumped up significantly. And I expect them to continue to do better. Um, Now, as someone who finds finance really interesting, and to a certain extent, so does Brian, this is
Yep.
remarkable. And I expect,
It is very very impressive what Nintendo has done in not over the span of a year, but just a few
yeah,
months.
because the Switch came out March. It hasn't even been a year yet of the console.
It hasn't even been 6 months. It hasn't even been five.
Oh wow, it hasn't been
Like
five.
this,
That's
it
right.
hasn't even been five. It's gonna be five on August 3rd.
Brian, let me throw this theoretical to you. Do you think it's plausible that the Switch outsells the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One comparatively to their first year?
I mm, uh I mean I would have to get some numbers on that, but the PlayStation 4 sold about a million in 2 weeks.
That's impressive, yeah.
Was it? I believe so. I mean, Nintendo has sold, what is it? What is it? Let me read this. Almost 2 million
In
Switches
in just
in
3 months,
three
so that's
months.
insane.
In 3 months,
And keep in
12
mind,
weeks.
Brian, keep in mind, I think the first month or two they went, they had pretty high numbers.
Yeah, because I think it was like, what was it not a million Zelda copies on the Switch. Uh, like it wasn't even a million. I don't even know if it was a million yet. It was a good 100,000 copies of Zelda, and as we said before, there were more in the first month alone. There were more copies of Zelda sold than the Switch
Which is
itself.
crazy. Like I said, that's why I'm considering that it might be plausible to
Will it outsell in the first year?
maybe, right?
Probably, yeah, yeah. It's always a possibility. There's always that
Because as I
possibility.
said before, the biggest concern seems to be, can they make enough?
Yeah, demand.
Because
Can
I don't
can
know about you, but do you remember
can you make
I don't
enough?
know. Do you remember when
Yeah,
the PS4 first came out? I was able to see
there were a
consoles
lot.
around. Not a lot, not a
Yeah, there were
lot,
a
but I
lot.
was able to see them around. With the Switch,
Yeah, and
I don't see any. Since the last time I saw a
like
Switch in the store was when I bought mine.
I think the last time I saw a Switch in store was maybe a few months ago.
I'm curious, was it the black one or was it the neon one?
I think it was the black one.
Yeah.
And always, it's always possible. There's always that big possibility, but I do think that console sales will go up by the holidays, by Black Friday, holiday shopping, and it's on Nintendo to ramp up that production,
Yeah, I mean, look, if Nintendo outsells the competition for the holiday season, damn,
which it probably will.
damn.
With Mario Odyssey coming out in October, um, hell, what's coming out? What is coming out this
Actually,
year?
yeah, why don't we talk a little bit about that? The next few months, we're going to get Mario plus Rabbids, which I'm hearing pretty positive, not reviews yet, but I'm hearing
Yeah,
positive
that
reception.
it was probably Mario Rabbids was probably the most
Yeah.
surprising thing about E3.
Yeah,
Well, not it was probably the most surprising thing about E3, and it did get a lot of positive
mm-hmm.
feedback from people who
Yeah,
played
oh
it,
yeah, yeah.
because it's like
It's XCOM for kids.
yeah, it's basically XCOM
And I
for
love it
you
for
know
that.
for
Yeah, I love it
kids.
for that. Something else that we're getting on the Switch, we're getting, I believe, the Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Warriors. Um,
Fire Emblem Warriors, which I mean, Hyrule Warriors didn't do that bad, but it honestly, Hyrule Warriors, Legend of Zelda wasn't really the right fit for a warrior for like a Dynasty Warriors type
See,
game.
and I would love to have this discussion with you because I'm in the opposite camp. I think it fit well. Don't get me wrong, Brian.
No, I'm not saying that it was
No.
bad.
I'm saying,
It just it,
I'm
it
saying the fitness of that game's genre to that. I think it fit well. I think where it lacked was the story, and I think Fire Emblem's gonna have a better story in
yeah,
general.
and I mean Fire Emblem. People who play Fire Emblem, like me, uh, like it's all about war.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like and Fire Emblem fits so
With
well
that
with
war idea.
the Dynasty Warriors
Moving
gameplay.
on from that, they're also gonna have obviously Mario Odyssey, which I think I have pre-ordered.
It's probably going to be it'll probably be game of the year if not if, it's going against Zelda.
You know what's
Let's be
funny? I
fair.
think Nintendo gonna have a couple Game of the Year nominations
A couple of
candidates from their own
for
field.
game of the year.
Other than that, they also have a couple more. I'm forgetting off the top of my head. I'm sorry that I should have been more prepared with the games that are coming out for this year. But
Isn't Xenoblade Chronicles 2
oh,
supposed to come
that's
out this year?
right. At the end of this year, I assume around December.
November, December,
Not only
right?
that, we also have
They
Skyrim.
they're saying 2017, and they are sticking to their
I
guns.
think it'll come out 2017. I think at this point,
Yeah, they are sticking to their guns about
at this
2017.
point, Nintendo
And
tends to keep their promises because
yeah,
it's late in the
like
game to make. Oh well, you know what? After further consideration, it's gonna be 2018. I doubt they'll do it now.
yeah,
It's a little too.
yeah. And let's not even talk about this year. Let's not even talk about this year. Let's move forward. Let's move to 2018, and with the stuff that's in development and coming out in
Well,
2018.
look, the only game that I care about right now that's coming out in 2018 is Metroid Prime 4. And even then, we don't even know if that's for sure going to come out 2018. Because
Yeah,
look,
we don't even know
we're
if that's
getting some
coming out.
fantastic game. Help, that Joshi game looks awesome.
Yoshi game,
Kirby
Kirby.
looks awesome. You know what I'm curious about that I thought they were going to announce at E3 was the Pikmin 4. I don't know
Mm.
why. I'm expecting it to be summer 2018. I don't know why. It just feels like it's going to be summer 2018. I know they didn't announce it this past year, but I don't know. There's something in me. I'm expecting a direct like sometime in January or February and being like, hey, by the way, here's a full list of games that are coming out in 2018. And like at the very end of that direct, they show us Pikmin 4.
Yeah, and let's also talk about Pokemon Stars for that
So
matter,
look. Here's
or not even Pokemon Stars,
for the
Pokemon
Switch.
for the
Look,
Switch.
here's my theory on that. I'm expecting something not just different, but something that might even annoy Pokemon fans. I'm gonna be frank, um, because if they're gonna make it on the Switch, it feels like they want to do something that's gonna be unique, or at the very least an evolution of the franchise, which is something you don't hear often in this franchise. An evolution. Um, it's
I want my 3D camera.
Pokemon VR.
I want 3D rotating camera so I can at least see behind me.
I mean, hell, it might just be that. That could be the major thing, and that would be awesome. You know, Brian knows this well, and I want to make this clear. I'm not a Pokemon fan. You know,
You're not the biggest
no,
Pokemon fan.
I played Pokemon Go for like a month, maybe it was
You
2 weeks,
played Alpha
for like
Sapphire for like an
5
hour.
hours. It was 5. It was closer to 5. I remember putting a little bit more info into
Yeah.
that. But and the reason, by the way, the reason Brian knows it, because I literally just gave him the game.
Yeah.
Um,
I got the I really wanted to play the game. You know, Manny gave it to me.
But yeah, I mean, look. To wrap things up, I'm excited about about the remainder of this year as a gamer. I'm not even talking about just
Yeah,
Nintendo here. As a gamer, I also have an Xbox One,
yeah, and it's also looking very good for Nintendo. Not just on the console
but
side,
on their 3DS. And look, you know what?
and not just on the 3DS,
We'll
but
actually,
not just on the 3DS. Transition into mobile.
yeah. And look, the mobile's doing fantastically well. And look, we're
Yeah,
kind of running out of time in
mobile's
this
doing
video,
fantastic.
but I just want to say this before we sign off. On the 3DS/mobile front, I was surprised. That's all I'm gonna say, and we'll talk about it in a future video. But for now, I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning into our first video. We're hoping to grow. We're hoping to have tons of fun. I mean, look, we we tried this the very first time. We did not know what we were doing, and to be frank about it, we sucked. But I feel
Yeah,
like now we have a better plan.
plan.
Yeah, because Brian actually sat down and we kind of hashed everything that needed to be hashed in terms of improving what we were doing. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for sticking this long. Thank you for even watching our videos in the first place. We promise you
Yeah,
this time around we won't just
disappear.
stop. We're gonna continue doing this because we actually like doing this. It's a big
Yeah,
surprise, but we actually like doing this. We didn't stop because we all of a sudden hated it. We stopped just because we felt like we weren't doing the right thing, or we felt that we weren't doing enough. Um, and I think this time around we're gonna have a lot more chance to make it right. Uh, is there anything you want to say quickly, Brian, before we sign off?
I mean, you pretty much said most of everything. Thank you guys for sticking around this long. I mean, obviously, there are no videos on the channel, and this is basically what we're gonna call fresh start.
Version 2.0.
It's a it's a fresh start,
Oh,
and
sorry.
there will be a lot of probably more uh, quality coming to these videos.
Yeah, right
Hopefully.
now, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a little low quality, but we're gonna bring it up. I promise you that. We're gonna bring it up. It's not gonna be uh, this level of, I don't know, crap. But point is, we're not gonna be Ryan Seacrest.
Ooh.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
I'm throwing Seacrest shade.